Welcome to the Athletes in Motion podcast, from race to recovery, with your hosts, Tom Riegel and Kenny Bailey.
Hey, Kenny, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Tom. How are you?
I'm fantastic as well. We're finally catching back up with Leo. The last time we checked in with Leo was back in June, of all things. Seems like a lifetime ago. This summer has been so jam-packed, so much going on, and Leo had recovered from injury. He was out training. He was racing. So, Leo, what's going on? What's happening? Where you at?
Oh, not much. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm racing on Sunday. Thanks for having me here again. Super excited about it. Ready to go. I was actually doing some packing before this call. I should need to get on the bike for about 40 minutes now. After the call, I got another bike tonight, 1 in the morning, and then a quick run tomorrow as well, and then traveling on Friday, not doing anything. I'll probably, depending on the time we get there, I'll probably just go for a quick little jog, and then it's go time. I am beyond excited.
Cool. So this is your 70.3 Augusta. Is this your first 70.3? Cool. So take us through a couple of things in June and July when we last left you. What races did you do as your prep as we were going through? We've got a lot of time to cover here. We're going to jump through it and we'll get into Augusta, but tell us about what you had coming up in July, because I know you raced Nashville, Music City, right?
Yep. Music City was a lot of fun, as always. Great race. And then I guess attempted to race Old Hickory in Hendersonville, and I got a flat on mile 1. As soon as you get up, as soon as you get on, I guess, the highway there. I don't know, not the highway, but the road that you ride on.
The main highway, the main road.
I am going up the hill, and I'm like, something is wrong. I am looking at the power meter, and I'm looking at 300 watts, and I'm not moving. And I'm like, okay, something is off. And I kept going, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Like, I stopped a couple times to loosen up my brakes, my brake calipers. I thought that's what was rubbing. I knew something was rubbing, and I, messed with the front one, messed with the back one, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then all of a sudden I heard uh-oh, something
that's not good.
Definitely off now. Yeah, so basically my back wheel, and I think that this is because of me moving it from the trainer, on and off the trainer, the little screws that you have in the back.
Yeah, the little set screws.
One was in a little bit more than the other, so my wheel was tilted, and it was rubbing against the brake, and it was the tire. I basically had to get new tires. And I'm not like you, Tom. I could not run 11 miles.
I was going to say, you just didn't run it like Tom does?
No.
Saying, Leo.
You're not committed to the cause, Leo. That's the problem. You're just not committed. So the mechanic
came over with the van and was like, hey, how can I help you? And I was like, once I saw that I had a flat, I was like, I can do this. I got this. Great practice. Let's go. And then I realized that I didn't have the valve extender.
Oh, yeah.
Because the wheel is the 90 millimeter.
Yeah.
And the bike mechanic there didn't have it either. So I was like, just take me back. And at the time, it was kind of a good thing, because even if I had replaced the flat, it would have happened again, because maybe he would have caught it and he would have, adjusted. But, the positive thing is now I know if that happens again, I know how to fix it.
Yeah.
I know how they should be. So it's kind of like, what lesson can we learn here?
So that's key to setting up your bike before the race, right?
Yeah.
So now you're going to check that before the race. So for everyone who doesn't know what this is, your wheel goes in, unless you're using a through axle, which changes all of that, right? But if you're doing a quick release, the older style wheels, a quick release goes through, and there's a little section that's cut out that's where that axle goes. That quick release axle goes into that. Inside there are two small little screws that you can pull out or push in, and that sets the wheel in to get it stable, right? So if one side's in, one side's out, then the wheel at the back will actually turn or whatever. So key to setting it up, especially popping it off the trainer and bringing it in, is making sure that wheel spins freely and doesn't wobble, doesn't on an angle, that type of thing. So so that's something to check. I mean, most people don't know those little set screws are in there.
I know now.
Well, and I think, Tom, it's also important to, because there's a lot of people that train on trainers, right?
Yep.
And that, especially like if you have an older trainer where the trainer smacked up against that tire, like it's going to square that tire off. So key lesson is, a couple days before or a few days before you go for your race, make sure you, check that, check it twice, that kind of thing. And the other thing is like, make sure you have an extender. Yeah.
So make sure the wheel was spinning correctly, not tilted, right? Good.
Visually inspect your bike and spin through, and if there's any question about it, right, that's the time before the race, before you get down there. That's these are things you learn as you do more races and you do more stuff. So you just check that off. Now the valve extender, did you have one on the previous tube that popped, and you couldn't pull it from that one over?
I did. Yeah,
curious.
I could have done that, but at the time I didn't even know what to do, right? Like I didn't have a spare extender. So yes, I could have removed the one that was there. But I'm looking at it now, I'm glad that I didn't, because I don't know, it would have probably happened again if I had done it.
You would have had issues.
And I waited. I think I waited 30 or 40 minutes for the mechanic. Like basically, I remember Joel and Janet passing me, and I think who else passed me?
Everyone. 30 minutes.
And So anyways, I remember people passing me and asking like, "Leo, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You're gonna watch it. My bike is not moving."
That's frustrating.
I remember them coming back and asking Leo, "Are you okay?" And, it was funny because at first a police car stopped behind me. So like after the race, they're like, "Hey, what happened to the police car?" I was like, "I was going over the speed limit. It pulled me over." That's what happened. And then he gave me a ticket right there.
Nice.
Couldn't finish the race.
He was going so fast, he was popped for drugs. And so they had to, they thought he was doping.
So you got through that one, learned a couple valuable lessons. So what was next after that?
So then I did one in Bowling Green. It was a PBR race.
PBR racing.
Triathlon. And the really cool thing about that one, it's something that we're going to do every year. They had a kids triathlon right after, like following the adult sprint. It was the kids. So it was like a
family affair. Yeah, that's awesome.
The parents would race, and then the kids would race, and it was awesome. There were not a lot of people in my age group, but I came in first, which was really cool. I had a good race. It was, I did something that I had never done before, thanks to Jeff and Bab Kidwell, which, Jeff was racing as well. His daughters are doing our kids program. And he's like, "Hey, we're going to drive around to do a course recon." and I had never done that, right? Because I'm new to the sport, lesson learned.
Yeah.
There was one hill that I feel like a car struggled to go up. And I'm like, oh goodness, this is going. It was I think it was a 14%.
Oh my gosh,
gradient.
That's solid.
And
yeah,
it was solid. And I was happy that I made it all the way up on my bike. But I remember going up that hill and the speedometer, like the speed is showing on my GPS is like 4.5 miles per hour.
Yeah.
I could have basically gotten off my bike and ran quicker than that. But it was a really cool race. You know, it was totally worth it. It was a pool swim, really pretty bike course, and the run was in a park. And I really like the races where people can see you multiple times, right? Where it's kind of like you're doing a loop. Because when the family is watching, they see you here, they see you in the next one, they see you coming back. It was really, really cool. Our son Lucas had a really solid race as well. He won his age group, and
that's awesome.
It was just
nice.
It was just a really fun weekend. And you know, Bowling Green is like an hour and a half from here, so it was really, really cool to race with the family watching and then watching the rest of the family. So we'll definitely be there. We'll be back next year.
Nice. Cool. So then what happened? Anything?
Then
get out of that
else.
one? And then it was just nose to the grindstone training.
And
grinding it out, pushing it.
Yeah, I feel very confident coming into the race. I feel like I had a very good 3-4 week training block after Bowling Green. And, you know, I came into Bowling Green as kind of part of my training. I was tired when I when I started the race. I think I was actually starting to get sick. I actually had a week that I didn't train at all because I caught something. Probably COVID, but I was like, you know, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to recover and I'm going to get back to it. 1 week of missed training is not going to completely mess me up, you know, like, but if I kept pushing, so training has been great. I did hire a swim instructor to work with, and that has made a huge difference.
You found somebody that coaches swimming in Nashville that was decent? That's amazing.
Yeah,
They're hard to find.
The guy is amazing. I know, the guy's amazing. I feel very confident, a lot more confident on my swimming now than I did before. I feel like every race that I did that had open water swimming, 200 meters in, it doesn't matter how much I prepared, 200 meters in, I would pull the breaststroke. You know, breaststroke it is. We're gonna do 20 breaststrokes, and then we're gonna switch it to 20 freestyle, 20 breast, and that's how, you know, I would get through. And we just did the swim around Raccoon Island this past Sunday, and when I got in the water, I was like, oh, here we go again. Breaststroke, and in 3 minutes, I'm gonna be breaststroking. And I was able to swim the entire time freestyle, had a very good pace for my level of swimming. So coming into Augusta, you know, that was the thing that I would kind of worry the most. Now I'm like, let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, you're solid. So you look solid out there.
So what are you telling yourself when you're going into Augusta? What are the things that you're reminding yourself of when you go in? Is it, you know, solid swim? Like how are you sort of approaching this race? What are those mantras you have?
Yeah, it's my first one, right? So I want to have fun. I'm not going to. I just had a chat with Jeff Kessler today. He stopped by to give me a little pep talk, and that's the one thing that is amazing about being part of a tri club and having that community, because he has done it multiple times. So many people in our tri club have done this race, so I'm asking them questions. Just get in the water. Don't worry too much about just setting up my own pace. I know that it can get a little crazy in the beginning. I don't want to get elbowed in the face. I don't want to get kicked in the face. So I'm just gonna kind of give it 10 seconds and just do my own thing, and then just have fun the rest of it. I have expectations. I want to be within my time range. I would like to be between 5.5 hours and 5:45. I think that's realistic. At this point, I don't know how it's gonna feel mid-bike.
Yeah.
But I've trained for it. I've put in the work. So now I want to go and have fun.
Yeah. And you've got the joy of not knowing what the weather's going to be like, because we've got Hurricane Helene heading up here, which is gonna it's gonna dump a bunch of rain Thursday, Friday. We're doing this call right now. What is it? It's Wednesday.
Wednesday night, yeah.
It's Wednesday night before the race. This is going to come out when everyone's listening to this. You're going to listen to this after the race. So next Tuesday, a week from now, this is going to be out. So just to put everybody in context, we're just before this. We've got Hurricane Helene coming through.
Yeah.
We'll be able to look back and know exactly what happened, but there's going to be a dump of rain Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday. We don't know about Sunday, right?
And it could be a fast river because of that. So
it's definitely going to be a fast river, right?
Yeah. So
wetsuit legal.
That almost was like an evil laugh.
Oh yeah, it might be really scary going down that fast. But wetsuit legal, not wetsuit legal.
Yeah, I am excited about having a lazy river type of thing where worst case I just go on my back and go down. But again, I feel like I prepared myself. There were days that I went on a bike ride and it started raining and I didn't turn around. I was like, what if it's raining during the race? I want to be able to know how to, obviously you have to slow down, but I want to have that confidence. There was one time that I went on a ride last year and it started raining and I had a crash, nothing serious, but my tire slid and I
that can be scary.
My entire right side.
Yeah.
And I had not done any rides in the rain after that. And I was like, I got to get over it. Like, I want to be able to ride because you don't know what's going to happen during the race. I feel like you have to be prepared.
Sure.
And the same thing, like, there were days that I went for a run and I knew it was going to rain. But you know what? Let's just go. It felt great. I would take a rainy run over a steaming hot run any day.
Yeah, and just silly things like if you wait later in the morning to go do your open water swim and you show up to these events and the sun's coming up, it's just weird because you're not prepared to the fact that you're standing in line in the dark.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I mean, if you don't train for what your race is, that's when anxiety hits, right? That's when things like, well, I haven't trained in the rain. Am I going to be okay? Right. Where now you're okay. It's just a matter of executing on what you know versus trying to fight what you don't.
Yeah.
So very exciting. Of the three disciplines, where do you feel the most comfortable?
Not swimming. I would love to say that. But I feel like lately I felt very good with my running. Like I feel like I can tell that my running has gotten better. And in different ways, right? You can look at my heart rate now when I'm doing a, faster to me interval, and how it was 6 months ago. but the biking is just awesome. I normally have a tendency of getting nervous during the races. My heart rate will go to like 170 as soon as I get out of the swim. So I need to settle down, let it. But I'm excited. I think that nowadays so many people ride indoor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. Sometimes you must do that because of timing. I've been going to the trace on weekends and I've been loving it. I'm excited to be riding in a different place and be able to see other things. I think that'll be really cool. I know that the trace is pretty hilly. Augusta is not that hilly of a course, so they were talking. I was watching a video. Someone posted a video of the whole bike course, and I was like, "Thank you." I forgot the name of the guy, but that's great.
Yeah.
Like, he drove for an hour and a half with his cell phone, turn by turn, and he's like, "Okay, this I think is like a 3% grade," and I'm like, "That's awesome. I'm on." Like, you go to the trace, and that's so. I'm excited to see how I do on the bike, but I want to be able to have a solid run. So it's just like there's a lot of I guess emotions right now. Like, I was thinking this week, I've been waiting for this since last year. I signed up for Chattanooga, couldn't race because of the accident, and it's here. And I feel like I did my part with the training. I think my wife is almost as excited as I am.
That's great.
Which is great. Like, she created a checklist of like, hey, this is stuff that we're gonna bring. Where's the nutrition? Where's this? Where's that?
Nice.
So that's fantastic.
The whole family is excited. Yeah, my in-laws are coming to watch. My brother-in-law is coming to watch. No pressure. So yeah, and I mean, we had booked 2 hotels near the venue, and we canceled that and rented a big house so we can all stay together.
That's awesome.
So it would be really cool. It would be really cool. I cannot wait, and I'm already thinking, on the car ride back, what's my next race? Like, I'm gonna go ahead and book it.
That's fun.
And you're talking about the training, Kenny. Like, you have to train the same time that you race. I mean, when was it? This morning. I think I was up at 5, and I was at Lifetime at 5:25 in the pool. It was too dark, and you just like, I think it's now part of me. Like, I enjoy that. I enjoy the process. I enjoy seeing the progress. It's just been pretty great.
Yeah.
And what's fun too is like when you have whole families that show up, it's just the energy is fantastic, right? When you've got, fathers and mothers and wives and kids, that everybody's cheering for you, and they got banners out. I mean, that's what makes the races fun, right? It's what makes it electric for those people that brings that, when you're tired and you're on mile 6 and you got half of a marathon to go still, and you're like, okay, half of a marathon, I guess. But so Leo, do you have like this is big on my list, but do you have like a food or drink or something that, like, after the race you just can't wait to sink your teeth into?
No, I was thinking about it. I know I'm going to be hungry.
Meal you want when you're done.
But I'm not that picky. No, I think that our goal is going to be to get on the road because the kids have school on Monday.
Oh, geez.
So that's the challenge with the Sunday race. I have some really awesome people at work. They are like, my whole office is going to be tracking me.
Nice.
And they're super excited because they went through the accident too, right? I was off work for, a month, and they are all kind of cheering me on, and they're all excited about my race. And I want to be back. I want to be back on Monday in the office. So I think that we're going to finish the race. We're going to get on the road. I actually sent a message to the guy that we are renting the house from. I was like, hey, I know it's probably, I don't know what time is the checkout. And I stop by and take a shower. Like, that's the only request. Like,
that's what you want.
Shower? Yeah, that's what I want.
That's what you want.
I'll probably just have, a protein shake waiting for me. And then you probably stop on the way.
Get a Chipotle and call it a day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Chipotle would be nice. I would love that.
This is brought to you by Chipotle.
Yeah.
But something quick. I don't know. I'm a big burger fan, so if there's a Five Guys on the way, Five Guys would be awesome. I could probably eat the whole thing of fries, the large one, which they dump like a bucket of fries.
You'll probably eat 2 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be so hungry.
Yeah, the thing for me though is like the last 3 or 4 miles, all I'm thinking about is the food I get to eat when I get done. So I guess I'm stomach forward when it comes to that. Right? It's just like I get to have chicken. I don't know what it's fried chicken for me. I don't know what it is.
Nice.
It's the grease and the protein and the fat, I guess. But so it's surprising when people don't have it. Like, well, what do you want? Like, I don't know. I'm like, really? I've already thought about it like weeks in advance.
And he's planning out next year's meal.
I'm already planning out next year in Louisville.
He's got next year's meal.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice. I think the cool thing is you have plenty of time to think about it, right? When you're on
there you go. Yeah, you have a few hours on.
You're gonna be out there for a couple hours, so yeah.
When I was swimming this past weekend, it's cool because I did the lessons. I did the lessons with Tom. Thanks, Tom. But I would be swimming and I was like, all right, do the big C that Tom talks about and patient hand. And I would be thinking about those things as I'm going. So I always do math when I'm do numbers. I'm a numbers guy. So I'm like, okay, I've run 3 miles. That's a 5K. I got to run that 3 more times. And then I'm going to have a little bit, I'm always doing some calculations in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I've done, I don't know. It's kind of like, when you're, I guess, trying to figure out to spend money on triathlon, how you justify that. That's kind of what I do in my mind.
Yeah.
He's calculating the cost per mile.
Yeah, don't do that. That's scary. Just figure out,
don't do that. No.
Make improvements, and then you can justify your spend on
That's
that.
Right. Because you'll find out a drug habit is actually cheaper than
totally
triathlon, and keeps you still fit and trim. So.
Yeah, it's cheaper to be on meth. It really is.
It really is.
It's kind of scary.
On that thought. So
yeah. So cool. So
this is brought to you by meth.
Do drugs, kids. Okay. Do drugs. No, don't do drugs. Do triathlon instead.
There you go. Do triathlon.
Yeah. So you're set. You've got okay. So our next check-in with you is going to be after the race. We'll probably catch you in a couple weeks. Let it all sink in. Figure out what one you signed up for next, because you're going to do that on Monday right after.
Right?
So you're going to wear
more than one.
When you get into the office on Monday after the race. Are you going to wear your medal?
100%.
Absolutely. Are you going to leave your wristband on? You're going to leave your wristband on for 6 months?
Yeah, the numbers too.
And
I normally wear a dress shirt, long sleeve, but that day it's going to be sleeveless.
Nice.
There you go.
So
there you go. Ripped sleeves, ripped sleeves with a tie and the numbers and the and the medal. Nice.
There you go.
That's perfect. Love that.
Yeah.
Well, Leo, I think we're super excited for you. I mean, it's your journey has been crazy, right? You're in a hospital in France, and now you're getting ready to tackle your first half. And it sounds like what's fun is, you understood that swim was a deficit. You took a target to go fix that, and now it sounds like you're approaching it with fun and zest, and the family's involved, and that's really what's fun about these events. Even though it's a solo event, your wife is helping you prep, which is fantastic. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I think with the support you have and the lessons you learned from the last couple of ones, it sounds like you're going to be set up for success.
Yeah.
I am super excited, and it's exactly what you said. competitive guy. I wanna do my best, right? So I realized that for me to do that, I needed to fix my swimming, and I know there's a lot to do there. And I knew that I would kind of get through, but I knew that my legs would be really tired.
Yeah.
Because every time I'm doing breaststroke, right, I'm getting my legs exhausted. So I was like, I need to do this. Like, and it was kind of out of my comfort zone a little bit. Like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people don't want to get help, right? When on different things in life, like, but I'm like, you know what? I feel like the bike and the running is something that you can put time and you're gonna get better. But the swimming, it's all about technique, right? Like if you're doing it wrong, it's not gonna get better.
You can't brute your way through a swim, and that's the thing, right? You think you go like, well, I could just hammer it harder. Well, when you're fighting it against the water, water's going to win every time, right?
Especially sprint and Olympic, you can maybe kind of muscle your way through it. Once you start going a half iron distance and bigger, it's our most technical sport, right? It's the most technical sport. The only way to improve is body position and getting the technical parts in there, which you put the time in. You did it. You made huge strides. You made really good. You put the effort in. So, and you're going to get the reward for it now. So that's the best part.
Tom said that if the Olympics were a little bit later in the year, I would have had a shot at the trials. So,
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
No,
the one thing is that
I'm already thinking
your breaststroke was worse than your freestyle. So, I mean, that's what we had to save you from. the fact that you were defaulting to your breaststroke, which you're like, what's my breaststroke like? Let's just work on your freestyle.
Let's just work on freestyle. Yeah, let's not talk about
let's stick to one stroke.
No, we don't need it.
We're going to put a pin in that one. We're just going to go ahead and
we'll come back to that. We need a little more time.
Let's circle back.
But I know Kenny, that like, I want to get better running, right? So post race, I know that I'm going to be focusing on my running quite a bit because next year, when I do a race next year, I want to crush the run. Like that's my goal. I'm hoping that I can run, 8:45, 9-minute mile. I want that to go much lower next year. So we'll see. I think it's having those goals is great, and I look forward. I'm already looking forward to it.
Nice.
Fun.
Good deal. So thank you for sharing your journey with us. We're going to check in with you one more time after this, but we're super excited for you. We'll be tracking you. Really excited for that. And for everybody, don't forget to subscribe. The button will be here someplace. We'll have that down in the notes as well.
Like button too.
Yeah, hit the like button. Let everybody know. 5 stars, thumbs up, all that great stuff. The algorithm gets us out to more and more people. And follow along. Don't miss an episode as we check back in with Leo and the rest of our triathletes journey crew as we're following and catching up with everybody. A little bit late, but we're catching up with everybody still. And we appreciate all the comments and all that fun stuff. Share everything you can. Get more people listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. So Leo, thank you so much. Kenny as well. And thanks everybody. We'll catch you on the next show.